Okay, we are live now, and let's just wait for a couple of minutes so that people can join us, and we can start with that.
No problem.
Okay.
We had our first batch of
Yeah.
cold weather here where I live, so
Oh
I get to
yes,
pull
yes,
out
yes. We are
my sweater.
yes.
Cold for me, being in the southern part of the U.S., but probably a pretty day for other people.
Yeah. Mike, I think we can start now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Shubamjeet Singh, Automation Advisor at Accelirate, and I'll be your host and moderator for the session. Breaking the automation ceiling, optimizing finance with a digital workforce. And I can see that we have got the audience from automation and digital transformation. Those are the people which are actually the transforming the organizations. Uh, and since I've been speaking with a lot of automation and digital transformation leaders, what comes up almost every time whenever I talk to them is while scaling, they hit a wall or unexpected downtimes whenever they are running operations or maintaining efficiency as automation programs grow. So it's clear that automation has given us speed and efficiency, but it often falls short when it comes to scalability and resilience. And that's what exactly we are here to discuss. That's what exactly we are here to talk about. That how the financial organizations can move beyond this ceiling, and how digital workforce can help us build a resilient, intelligent, and adaptive automation ecosystems. For that, I'm thrilled to be joined with two amazing colleagues. That's First we have Mike Boker, Senior Director, Digital Transformation at Accelerate. And Mike has led large scale organizations moving from task based automation to business oriented automations. So, he brings a strategic perspective on turning automations into measurable business outcomes. With that, we have Patiksha Singh Bagel. Patiksha is a project manager at Accelerate, and she has come with a strong technical background where he's designing and managing automation solutions, especially for financial sector, using platforms like UiPaths and OpenWatch. With Mike's strategic perspective and Pratiksha's technical expertise, we will understand that why the organization's hitting the ceiling and how a digital workforce helps enable or optimize this automation ecosystems. So first, we're going to start with Mike. Mike, you have been working with a lot of digital transformation and digital transformation and financial leaders. So from your point of view, what's causing this setback for those organizations or for those leaders? What's hitting the ceiling as we are in this automation journey? As it's been years, but still a lot of organizations are hitting the ceiling. So what it is exactly for you?
Sure, and thanks for that lead in. So yeah, it could be a couple of things, and I'm a statistics guy, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna run through just a handful. So from a financial perspective, over 9 out of 10 CFOs report that they've invested in some form of digitalization within their
Hmm.
organizations. The second part of that is, of those 9 out of 10 CFOs that have made that investment,
Okay.
only a quarter of their processes, a quarter to about half of their processes are actually digitized, right? So, what that means is there's a lot of investment, but there's still a lot of opportunity for additional automation. And
Hmm.
even within where they've made that investment,
Okay.
um, what is the ROI on that? What have they been able to achieve? What have they been able to gain? What have they learned from that? Uh,
Hmm.
how can they scale that? And that's a big part of why I'm here. And I think that's a big part of what our audience wants to know is what's the next step, right? And if you
Mhm.
were at Fusion a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas, that was a huge topic, right? Is that initial investment has been made, but what does automation 2.0 look like? How do we go from small scale projects to large scale automation across organizations and ultimately the excuse me companies? Um, so if you don't mind, we go to the next one.
Yeah, sure.
So as I mentioned, right, when automation isn't quite enough, right, and I would say automation 1.0 is heavily based off of RPA, which in itself was fine, and it's the basis of a lot of different processes today. The issue with that is RPA is heavily structured, relies on structured data. Um, and as a lot of us know within, here at the team, that can be somewhat of a challenge because of the brittleness and the rigidness of that structured data, right? So if something changes, the bot tends to malfunction, right, or process tends to stop.
Okay.
Um, Pre-written scripts are, I like to say, a point in time, right? Everything looked great as we go through, discovery, development, and initial phases of production. Uh, Evolve and change now becomes somewhat of a liability, right? And when things like that happen, you tend to lose some faith in the process itself and slowly start to revert back to a lot of those manual processes. So, and where we're going, where we hope to go is to have more resiliency within our automation organizations, um, more more ROI that we can distinctly point to, and ultimately more value within the automation environment itself.
Hmm. Got it, man.
So yeah, you want to keep going, and I hit on a couple of these, mainly around the RPA and the structured the traditional structure of RPA. And if you just give me 1 second, I'll double back. So what I mentioned before is what RPA is good at is structured data processing.
Hmm.
Also, what it's good at is repetitive rule-based tasks, high volume, low complexity work, processes that rarely change. Right. The opportunity
Hmm.
is where exception handling and judgment comes into play, unstructured data where that comes into play, adaptability where things in the ecosystem change, and then also since there is this revolving, reoccurring pattern,
Hmm.
to be able to learn from that, right, and to improve over time, and then ultimately end-to-end orchestration across multiple systems is where there's opportunity, right? I know the slide says automation tends to fall short, but I look at it as an opportunity to improve,
Hmm.
which brings us to the next level, I would say, automation 2.0, right? Or maybe at this point, 3.0. So,
Oh, okay. So a lot of people are talking about digital workforce as well,
mhm.
and I think that is something which you should be highlighting, that what it is and how it is different from a traditional automation.
Yes, digital workforce, right? I think that term has been used for some time. I think it's evolved a bit. And my definition of what it is today
Hmm.
is it's, for one, end-to-end orchestration with
Okay.
RPA acting as a base, but you have another layer of technology sitting over the top that agentic AI is able to take advantage of, right? So, to kind of recap, right, traditional AI
Hmm.
is based on predefined inputs, as opposed to now the new digital workforce is more about end-to-end orchestration, transparency, visibility, and ultimately able to um, work independently in some cases.
That's more like automation, which is doesn't just work faster but also smarter, I think, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So again, kind of as we mentioned, right, some of our core capabilities, right, end-to-end process orchestration,
Hmm.
intelligent exception handling, which in the older generation of RPA, that in itself was a role that an analyst may have had to take on because of the amount of exceptions that
Mhm.
uh, would begin to rise as different scenarios happen, right? Another part in the early days was monitoring, right? A lot of that was, you would build an RPA process, and then you
Mhm.
would actually have to bring in someone to watch that process run. Well, now through intelligent development and intelligent improvements, you can have visibility 24 by 7, right?
Mhm.
As a result, now you're able to scale. That
Okay.
was one of the limiting factors in the early days of automation. Is the ability to scale was a challenge, right? Without significant additional
Mhm.
investment. And
Right.
then one thing that's been good from the start is our ability to, or the automation ability to be compliant and to be auditable, right? Just because of the logs that generate and are
Mhm.
actually readable. So yeah.
Got it, Mike. Pratiksha, since how you have been in that part where you are doing the implementation, so how do you see that UiPath enabling this digital workforce? Which features and the capabilities you see found really changing the digital world.
Definitely, Shubham. Hi, I'm really glad to be here and talk about my experience. I'll try to, explain the best UI features I have used so far and the way they have been very helpful in. So traditional RPAs were only dealing with static data, right?
Mhm.
And bots were limited to doing the repetitive tasks, but that's not the case anymore. We do have a lot of features right now which makes our RPA bots kind of go on autopilot mode, right? Shubham, can you go to, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so first I will talk about little. We'll talk a little bit about UiPath benefits in finance sector. So mostly, I have been working with financial sector clients like banking domain clients, some of the financial sector clients only, where I have seen that they are dealing with such huge volume data
Mhm.
that it is like just the automations keeps on running for like more than 24 hours. Some of the
Mhm.
automations are running for like even the monthly automation can go up to like they can run up to 3 to 4 days because they are dealing with such huge data.
Mhm.
So to be very frank, I don't see that it is possible. Like I know in the past, humans were doing it, and it was taking a lot of resources, and
Yes.
doing those kind of tasks manually, I cannot even imagine doing that without the RPA nowadays, since I have
Mhm.
now seen that how RPA can free up these financial team for the strategic work. I don't see any point doing those things manually anymore. And
Mhm.
because we have seen that sometimes there
Mhm.
could be unexpected scenario which can occur and which can make bot fail, right? So
Yes.
in order to prevent that, we do have a lot of new UI path feature which can help the bot. So it is not anymore like we just provide static organized data to the bot and bot will be able to process it. No, bot will take make decisions as well. It will take decisions as well, whether you want to go left or right. It can take a call as well. So we are nowadays, we are not just googling anything, right? We are making smart choices, we are using AI. So now our bots are also capable to integrate with AIs, make decision and make better choices for you if you want. So it is going to help businesses a lot.
Mhm.
uh, Shubham, if you can go to next slide, I would like to explain some of the UiPath features I have worked with. So UiPath, as I believe like name defines almost everything. So when I say that UiPath AI Center, this is the UiPath feature where you can create your machine learning models, and you can integrate your RPA workflows with AI.
Mhm.
So you can create your machine learning models, you can deploy them, you can integrate them with your RPA workflows, and you can train them on, so they can deal with not just with structured data but with unstructured and semi-structured data as well. They can take a call, they can take a decision on how you want them to, right? So it is not just stuck to one particular use case. It can work on any AI use cases nowadays. uh,
Got it. That's more like AI based self learning models.
Exactly, exactly. And it's not just like you can also keep improvising all the time, whenever you
Yes.
want and whenever you feel like there is some improvement is still required, you can, improve them and integrate them in your
Hmm.
traditional workflows.
Hmm.
So, if I
Yeah.
talk about one of the other feature which actually uses the AI is UiPath document understanding. So, as I said, this is the main part, and I think this has been the major setback for RPAs, where RPAs were only like earlier. RPAs were only useful when we were dealing with transaction, like rule based structured, structure with structured data. So, in order to overcome that, we do have this fantastic UiPath feature, document understanding, which can
Okay.
not just process the static data, but it can process, any form of data. You can get the data from in a form of email or a invoice or a document or a Excel. It will be able to help you extract the data from
Yeah.
those document, whatever data you want.
So any kind of unstructured data, it will handle on its own.
Yes.
Got
Yeah.
that. Got that. Pratiksha, if you can, specifically go through a couple of example or use cases, I talk about.
Definitely, I will. I do have two use cases prepared to go over. But before that, I would like to explain a little bit about
Mhm.
these features, and then I'll go over to the some of the use cases where I will exactly show you, where these features are getting used and how they're getting used.
Mhm.
So
Got
if
it.
I talk about UiPath AI Center, AI Center is also one of the feature where bot and humans can work in collaboration.
Mhm.
So sometimes what happen when, specifically when we are working for finance sector or for banks, there
Mhm.
is always a condition that, not always, but in some scenarios there is a
Yes.
condition that you don't want to give all the authority to the bot, right?
Got it.
In that case, action center comes in a picture. And if bot is processing, let's say, 100 transaction, and in some of those transaction the data is like different than usual, and you don't want bot to take a call in, like all type of data, so you can
Okay.
define that. And then what bot will do, bot will send those transactions to action center. You can take a call, you can provide your approval, and then you can send the bot for processing again.
Yeah.
So, as I said, human and bots can work in collaboration if required.
Yeah. That's
Auto
what I
healing,
think CFOs are looking forward to.
yeah.
Yes.
And UiPath auto healing is also like a very useful feature from UiPath. Uh, so what happens is, if I talk in a technical terms, there's this one thing which is called a selector, and when we are dealing with RPA automations, right? So bot uses selector to capture any particular element in the screen and it clicks on it. So sometimes what happens is, because we are dealing with a lot of third party applications, a lot of applications within the organization, so sometimes it gets updated, upgraded, right? And sometimes those elements move from one place to another place, and that's where the bot was failing. The traditional RPAs
Mhm.
were malfunctioning, right?
Mhm.
So this auto healing, UiPath auto healing feature can help identify those, and it can auto heal, and it can just continue to work. So I think it's a very useful and very good feature from UiPath, which makes our bots robust.
So,
Exactly.
Pratik, one quick question about UiPath auto healing.
Mhm.
Coming from a support perspective, how, from a just high level percentage, how much of the tickets do you think were related to a selector needing to be changed as a result of the auto healing feature? Like,
That's
how has it helped your team?
That's a really very good question, and I'm really glad that you asked this question, because I really want to let the audience know that the major contributor we for our incidents and issues on the RPA in production is this issue where the selectors gets changed, right? Because often there are some kind of upgrades happening. Either it is on the application, on the web application, on the desktop application. Sometimes there are upgrades on the application, sometimes upgrades on the browser. So there are a lot of things which change very often, and due to which we have to update the selector, every now and then. So I would say like it's almost 50 to 55% is the issue which occurs because of the selector. So yeah, it's a very good feature and it's very useful.
Great.
um I would like to talk about UiPath apps as well. So as I said, like in Action Center, bot can send the particular transaction for human to take a call. In UiPath apps, we give, so sometime business. So what happens is in UiPath, we can schedule the bots to run on a defined time, right? But if business users doesn't want that, in that case, if they want to run the automation on the ad hoc basis very often, and if they want to take a call, they don't want to provide the inputs directly to you, then they can provide the inputs from UiPath apps. They can directly enter the inputs and they can run the bot, right? It gives them, UiPath gives business users a flexibility to run the bot whenever they want. And like, for example, if the bot runs in phases, right? So they can execute one phase, they can check the data, they can execute the second phase. So it makes their life easier, and whenever they want to take a call, they can do it, they can provide input, and they can they can also be in kind of in communication with the bot.
Got it, Diksha.
uh, so UiPath Insight. Okay, so as a RPA manager, I really I very often use this feature from UiPath Insight. It is kind of analytics tool, I can say. In UiPath Insights, you can create dashboards. You can There are a lot of pre-built dashboards as well which you can use, but you can create your own dashboard in order to get the view of how your RPA automations are working. You can get the full picture. Sometimes we are dealing with, so I have dealt with a client where sometimes there are like 100 automations running, right? So as a manager, you won't be able to keep eye on each and everything all the time. So UiPath Insights give you real-time data. You can say how your bots have been behaving over the month, over the week. They can give you the transaction data on which particular bot has, done the what number of transaction it has processed. So it makes our life a lot easier. And then you can create ROI dashboard as well if business users want to know how many hours our automations are saving in the real time, right? So you can give that view to business users as well. So yeah, it is also one of the fantastic tools specifically for the people who are dealing with data analytics and from the management side as well.
Got it, Diksha.
Yeah. If you can go to next slide, I can show you some of the use cases for these features which I just explained.
Perfect.
Okay. So whenever we are talking about financial sector or for banking domains, for insurance domain, there are this invoice processing is the typical process. Like most of the automations revolves around invoice processing and account data reconciliation. So how it works is bot can capture the invoices from either email, Outlook, or you can, so if it is coming from, it can also download it from the application. If you want the bot to download it from somewhere else, it can download it. For data extraction, as I explained, the document understanding feature, for data extraction it can use document understanding. And as I said, now it doesn't have to be structured anymore, but can
Mhm.
process semi-structured and unstructured data as well. You just need to create your models, you need to train them, and then bot will do wonders for you. And after the data extraction, it does the validation and matching, based on the requirement. There are multiple ERP systems which are in being used in the organization, so it can match, it can validate. And also, if you want bot, as I said, for this UiPath feature, action center, so if you don't want bot to take a call, if there is a use mismatch or something, it can give you the authority to take a call. It can send those transactions to action center. Then exception handling, yeah, as I said, explained about this feature of exception handling comes under actually this action center part. And then auto healing can adapt new formats. If there are new pop-ups which are appearing unexpectedly on the website, it can also handle those. And yeah, it can just approves the invoices. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And it can create, of course, it can create a weekly performance report for you. It can send
Mhm.
you the reports on the emails for easy access. It can send the emails to multiple business users at a time to for them to know how the bot did and what was the result of the processing.
Got it,
So
Pratik.
Pratik, so one quick thing, going back to the data extraction, right? So some of our earlier legacy processes where um, there was a significant amount of exceptions that would be generated because of the fact that the bot couldn't pick up certain types of data. How have you seen that decrease over time with tools like document understanding?
We have definitely seen a lot of decrease on such numbers, because earlier what used to happen, like, we did not had these technologies, right? We were like, whenever something was changing in the format, bot was just throwing exception. And it was so, it doesn't like it, you can create rules for the bot. So if you don't want bot to stop at a particular transaction, if it has thrown exception, it can ignore that transaction and it will go to the next one. But now that we have such technologies, bot can handle those exception as well, process that transaction, and then only it moves to the next one. So yeah, it has reduced such exceptions a lot. And in the final output, if there are because I am not saying here that now that we do have these technologies, the exceptions are not going to occur. There will always be some unknown scenarios for which your models are not trained. So in the final report, bot can highlight those transactions and it can send it to you, and you can take a call. And accordingly, you can train your models to take a call for the next time. So it is something, I would like to say that this is something which is in a continuous improvement stage. You
Mhm.
can, it depends on how your machine learning models are trained to take a call. So yeah, over the time, I feel like, so like over the time, whatever exceptions we are getting right now, over the time it will also be gone, and bot will be able to handle each and everything until unless there is some new scenario coming up.
Excellent, perfect.
Got it,
Thanks.
Pratik. Sure. Yep.
Okay, I will explain one more use case regarding, go to the next slide, Shubham, regarding the reconciliation. So this is my favorite. This is very simple process, to be very frank. And
Mhm.
in all the banking clients, all the finance sector clients I have dealt with, this process is always common amongst all my clients. And there are at least 8 to 10 processes running and which are doing the reconciliation. So reconciliation, as I said, name define almost everything. Reconciliation is basically just getting data from one application, one system, getting data from another. Basically, it is a similar kind of data set, and you just compare it to make sure that there are no, mismatch, or no data duplication or something like that. So basically, this process is very simple, but this is the most common process, as I said. And it takes a lot of effort from the from the client side, because what happens is it holds like a lot of huge records, and it is very mundane task to compare each and everything line by line. It is very mundane. So I think the bots which we have created for reconciliation often does a very fine job for our clients. And if I go step by step, it just extracts the data, and again it uses, nowadays it uses those technologies which I just explained, which sits on top layer of the RPA bots. It extracts the data, it sorts the data, it detects the variances. So in some of the banking clients I have dealt with, we have had like such accounts which always used to maintain zero balance. So those accounts used to have a lot of debits and credits. If you are from banking sector, you might know what these accounts I'm talking about. So there are a lot of debits and credits happening over the day, over the period of 24 hours for such accounts. So, comparing those debits and credits and providing the final outcome, that is something which bot does for you. And there are more than like 100, 200, thousands of transactions happening on those accounts.
Hmm.
So for a human eye, it is not always easy to detect those variances, and it is not always easy to provide the final outcome of what and how it has happened, and whether for a particular GLs it is balanced or not. So yeah, reconciliation bot does that for you, and it provides you the final output, and it highlights the exception as well. So yeah, I guess that's all from my side.
So I mean, that's exactly I think the organizations are looking forward to. Like clear results, clear ROI. The month ends should be like smoother.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
So, right now, only like this month, now that we are on 30th, this month only we have dealt with such automations which have been running for like last 4 days.
Yeah.
And I cannot even imagine how people used to do those tasks manually earlier, right? And we have seen, like, when I started working with RPAs, it was always just the RPA traditional workflows, but now I have seen a lot of improvements in our bots as well, and bots are smarter than ever.
Got it. So, Mike, since you have worked with large enterprises, so what does this exactly looks like when we talk about scaling in large
Sure.
organizations?
So from what I've seen, right, I think now that this is automation has gone mainstream. Um, the value from executive leadership is you turn a process into,
Hmm.
as the slide says, right, a business partner, and not just a back end process that consumes a considerable amount of resources, right? The month end process, instead of taking weeks, or you start scaling up and it's really a time drag for a number of resources.
Okay.
It just becomes a process that you manage the output of it, right? And which leads to one, more satisfaction within your staff, but then a more compliant and scalable process that you can ingest more input, right? And that goes to the transaction capacity, right? So when that lived as a manual process,
Got it.
it's only so many processes or so many tasks and transactions that a person can do physically, right? When you digitize that process, you
Hmm.
shrink the amount of time that it takes to do that month end. And then you increase the availability to be able to feed more digitized processes through that pipeline. So at the end of the day, that's value and that's compliance. It's a process that just has to be done, right? And that gives CFOs and leadership more confidence that the
Hmm.
output is one, correct, and then also confidence when it's time to audit that output or audit some of those smaller subtasks and procedures. So um, the benefits honestly kind of speak for themselves as long as you're upfront and you're tracking them.
Yeah, the number shows itself, so it's huge actually.
So yeah, kind of what I was saying a few moments ago, right? When your capacity increases, you shorten your month end, right? It goes from days to sometimes even hours. The manual effort that can be error prone just because we're human nature. is substantially less. And then the quality of life for your finance personnel improves, right? Because they go from on a conveyor belt, if you will, to managing the process and managing the output and steering that output to where it best benefits the business itself. So, which ultimately indicates the ability to scale. So, it's more than just a number that they can save from time saved. It's honestly, it's a quality of life. I think that's what I see the most often is the quality of life improves for many of the people that play a
Mhm,
part of that process.
mhm. Got it, Mike. That's a great example of how steady improvements actually creates value, right? Yep. And That's really what today's topic is about: building operations which are self-learning, the getting better with time, and not just working faster, right? Thank you so much, Pratiksha. Thank you so much, Mike, and thank you so much everyone who joined us today. So what really stands out here is that just automation isn't enough. We need automation systems that can adapt, that can act, that can think, not just read the scripts. Uh, Thank you so much, everyone. And I think a digital workforce is something which is doing all of this. If somebody has any questions or want to get in touch, you can directly message me, Mike Pratiksha, or just scan the QR codes uh, here, and uh, you can schedule a call with us to continue this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Bye bye.
You.